Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CineClwd Podcast, the only show on the internet where two guys named Nick stand around and talk about movies.
In this very room. We got to be more specific.
No, bro.
Bro, there's 7 billion people, almost 9 now, billion people on Earth.
Yeah.
How are you to
Find
assume...
two of them named Nick talking about movies on an internet show.
I'm pretty sure we could find some.
Find them. Not now. Not now. Anyway, welcome back. We got stuff to talk about today. We got movies, new movies that we haven't seen, a new movie that we have seen. We're talking about the movie news, what's going on in the space.
Anything interesting, relevant, and all of the above.
That
happened in the movie world this week.
Pretty much what owned the movie world this week was D23. What happened in they did it in, I don't remember where they did it the first time, but they just did it in Brazil. They did a new thing in Brazil, and some news came out revolving around the Disney franchises. And then we got some news about Christopher Nolan, and then we got some news about Francis Ford Coppola. But before we do all of that, let's talk about the one movie I've seen this past week and a bit, which is
a movie.
No, it's like rookie numbers for me. I feel like.
Oh, you mean that? Like, yeah, for sure. But like, you gotta realize it's the end of year crunch.
Yeah, but. Then I should be crunching. I watched one movie.
Bro, I mean, like,
I watched one movie. I wrote my own short scene, so I guess that's cool. But I didn't.
Bro, life.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way,
I guess. But the movie I did watch is a movie I came around to. It was in theaters back in October or September, and it finally came out streaming. So I bought it and I rented it, watched it. A Different Man that stars Sebastian Stan, and it's an A24 film. Essentially, if I could put it in my own words, A Different Man sees a man. I'm going to say the word man. I just want to the character's name. Sebastian Stan plays Edward. All right, so Edward is a man who has a. What is the nicest way to put it? How do they write it on Google?
It's a deformity. I feel like what is?
Yeah, but it's like go scroll down. I just want to see the synopsis. What they wrote in the synopsis.
Different minute is a blah blah.
Up here. Okay, so essentially, he's born with. They use the right word, like they use the proper term, the medical term in the film. I don't have it.
I'm gonna have it right here.
Perhaps you have it.
Neurofibromatosis.
Yes, neurofibromatosis, and that essentially attacks the facial structure.
Mm-hmm.
So Sebastian Stan's character looks like
a certain
way based off that, and essentially he kind of hates his entire being on account of that because he. I don't want to dumb down a movie that is not dumb, right? No, but the reason he does it is because he does it, like, one of the reasons he does it, the reason the movie sets up the trigger for him is because he's has a girl over and he doesn't have the courage to like ask her out on account of the fact that he's not confident based off his look. Anyway, a lot of things add up for him. He ends up doing a drastic surgery that changes his entire face. It brings out Sebastian Stan's regular face. He's the actor. He's essentially the dream face of the guy. That's who they pick. So Sebastian Stan now playing himself, just doesn't have his face looking the same anymore. He essentially exists within the real world. But what happens when the people that you knew when you looked a certain way
know you now,
see you the way that you look differently? And especially what he does, I guess the twist of the movie is that when he changes his face, he comes out and says that the guy who everybody knew killed himself, and he's like a cousin who's coming to live in this place. So
yeah,
you can only imagine. Essentially, we have Renate Renziv. It's Swedish. I'm not good with names. She played in The Worst Person in the World. She starred in that movie. She's in this. Adam Pearson, who suffers in real life from
neuromynosis. Sorry if we butcher the neurofibromatosis.
Yes, that's it. Neurofibromatosis. He suffers from that in real life. He's in this movie. Essentially, the face that he has is the same face that they put on Sebastian Stan. Very, very similar. It just so happens that essentially the way that the story plays out is the girl, Renate, who's playing a character named Ingrid. She's a playwright. She's writing a play. Sebastian Stan's character wants to star in the play. And the problem is that the play is about the man that she met, who Sebastian Stan's old look, who he said is now dead. she's writing a play about his life. Until essentially, which will end in the suicide that never happened because Sebastian Stan underwent the
surgery.
So essentially what happens is that Sebastian Stan's character wants to play the older version of himself when Adam Pearson's character rolls along, and it's like the movie throws you for a loop. The movie throws Sebastian Stan's character for a loop because you have a guy who's confident with his, even though he suffers from something, and you have a man who changed his entire being
because he wasn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's the imposter syndrome put on display, basically.
I guess. I finished watching it and I felt like the movie, like, it was like it big bro'd the substance in a way, and I don't mean big bro the substance in the sense that the substance is a
it's not to undermine that movie.
No, because it's not the same. No. The substance deals with like beauty standards, especially regarding like women in society. This revolves solely around I'd say
the consequences of your choices based around that.
Yes and no, but it also revolves around like self-acceptance and the treatment of which you'll put yourself through in order to be the idealized version that you think you need. It's not necessarily a societal pressure in this case. It's he cannot find the confidence within himself based off the way he looks. Then he feels like he has to undergo massive changes.
And the fact that he had to kill his previous identity says a lot about the character. What I remember you telling me about that movie when you first watched it, and what jumped to me was how I love the the differences between it and The Substance, because I feel like it deals about the same subject but in a completely different fashion. Where The Substance is very much in the now, whereas this movie is very much in the aftermath of what you decided to do, right?
I'd say so.
That's basically what the movie is centered around. The idea that, you made the choice of foregoing who you were for something that you thought would end up making you better as an individual. But look, when you're looking back at it, did it really make a difference? And I feel like for that, you did a good job.
Yeah. So that's exactly kind of what this thing is about. And when you break down a thing like this, you have to have an idea of, okay, am I going to be willing to put up with a story about a mental descent based off one's own choices? I don't know about you. I tend to have a hard time when I'm you watch a movie. I sometimes empathy with characters that are not great to other people, not great. It's tough. And this is what you see in this movie, especially after he changes, after he feels like he's losing grip on the things that he
thought was locked away by his appearance.
He thought he was blocked. He thought he was closed off to the world because of the way he looks, only to realize that you change everything you are only to be more blocked off because people just took you for the way that you were, and he never took himself for the way that he was. That's essentially what the movie's all about. And it's interesting. You play with some romantic relationships between him and his co-star Adam Pearson, who interjects himself into the whole thing. It's how they say it's not what's on the outside that matters, it's on the inside. That's what this thing is about at its core. Now when you blow it up, you gotta have everything has to work for this thing to work, in my opinion. Everything has to bring an A level of game for this to work.
Does it work on every single forefront though?
Just it's so fast. It's so much fun. Sebastian Stan. I saw a meme. I don't know if you sent me the meme. It was Sebastian Stan career plan, and it's get MCU bag, do indie film. Get MCU bag, do indie film. The dude is a phenomenal actor who's hidden behind a metal arm in Captain America, and I like him. I like Captain America. We just watched the trailer for Thunderbolts. I like that character, but there's nothing. He has an acting ability that is beyond.
We said the same about Glenn Powell though, how he would go for these big blockbusters and then jump out and be hey man, I can actually do something. You know, I can actually tap into other parts of my talent.
I love it. I love that sequence of film. I think it works so well. Sebastian Stan is so good in this movie, and he was so good as Donald Trump in The Apprentice. So it's the guy just showed you back to back. And now he's got to do Thunderbolts, but back-to-back roles with that guy bringing
a different level.
Yeah,
but it's the diversification of a career that is actually impressive here, because a lot of people will just tap into like one type of movie and just do that forever. But I feel like those are I guess like for the regular audience, those are the people that are going to stick around. But for us specifically, guys like Sebastian Stan that just jump around movie from movie and just try different things, try new things. It always is more interesting because you get something new out of the guy.
Well, that's the truth, right? When you have a guy who's going from movie to movie, you tend to subscribe to the actor. So then you're dragged through several different new movies. Like you mentioned, Glen Powell. Like I'm fully subscribed to Glen Powell. Glen Powell gonna make whatever. I'm gonna watch whatever he makes. So whatever he's a part of, I'm usually in.
That's how you build pedigree.
So, in a way, it's really nice that these actors are willing to circle back and do indie films, because it's like you need them. Like these movies are good, like they're really good, and they get to show off acting ability. And to me, these are movies that you don't make for the now, but you make for your legacy.
Yeah.
When you're done your career and somebody's gonna ask you like,
what's your favorite movie you worked on? Yeah. Shit? Like it's always gonna be those movies.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really cool that they can go back to that. A Different Man is just a
Would you recommend it to like a lot of people?
Yeah.
Is it accessible?
In a way,
because like the substance is not very accessible.
No, it's more accessible. It's more accessible than the substance, but it's got some like absurdities, and it's got some like frightening imagery. Like he peels off skin, and like it's not always pretty to look at and to hear or to see, but this thing is like extremely warm at the same time. It's honestly it's very inspiring to me, because like I was playing around with color grading the other day, and I'm looking at color grading and I'm like, the most popular cinematic color grading like setup is Christopher Nolan blue everything, like darkness, like, you know, and I'm like, I was watching A Different Man and everything is like vibrant.
Yeah.
But it's, and the same, I felt the same way when I watched The Apprentice. Everything is like grainy, like oversaturated, colorful film. Yeah, and I'm like, it's pretty, but you're still watching a complete deconstruction of man, but you're watching it and it looks pretty.
What's your favorite color grading effect or like style? You just jumped onto it. I'm just curious.
Well, I can give you that one, like that one, okay. Like okay. So here, like I was looking at, I was doing some, I was like looking at like different formats and things like that, and I'm like, I literally looked at my girlfriend the other day, and I'm like, yeah, all the movies I'm gonna make are gonna be in a 4:3.
You told me that.
She's like, why? I'm like, because it's fucking awesome.
The vibes are immaculate.
So like, but like 4:3 with the color way, like I'm gonna pull it up. You got to see this. I don't even think this was a 4:3. The Apprentice. It's not a 4:3, but look at the way that the color.
Yeah.
Like, look at the way it looks.
That is very 80s-esque.
I love it, but I love the fake 80s-esque. Yeah. Don't give me.
Because it stays sharp.
Like, look at that. That is gorgeous.
But that's like spot lighting, you know, like it's very like small scenes. It's not like big like budget.
So here's my thing. If I said that. I said all my movies are going to be in a 4:3. If I ever sign on to do, if in my lifetime I get to do a movie like a big sci-fi budget IP alien, I'm not making a 4:3 Star Wars movie. It would be really interesting, but I'm not. I wouldn't do that. Only a couple of franchises I would jump into, like an 4:3 franchise. Like Zack Snyder did Justice League in a 4:3, and I think that was interesting. Like I'm a big fan of blow it up for the big screen, but if you want your story to be as tight and tightly knit and as compact and visually,
because the way you lay
tunnel vision, 4:3 is amazing.
Because the way you lay out your scenes in a 4:3 is completely different than you do in a 16:9.
Oh yeah,
like it's crazy. There's so much more focus on like the subject of the scene, whereas like in the 16:9 you're like lost in the movie, which is a different style altogether.
It's not the same.
Not at all.
And the different man is not even a 4:3. It just so happens it's just that style that I'm really a fan of, that I really just like. I'm just a fan of that style. 4:3 though I would never like. It's hard. Like
I would never do that movie in a 4:3.
Well, you couldn't.
You couldn't.
You just highlighted Avatar, which is going to be Avatar 3, which I want to talk about that, but not a second. It's just I'm more so like I just said, the contrast of or that connection of having a 4:3 warm feel, and it's not even 4:3, but having a tight 4 warm fuzzy feeling, all with the crashing into the we're descending into madness. It's very fitting. Yeah, it's very fitting, and it's beautiful, and it works so well. And the movie makes sure that you're never feeling like some epic grandioseness. I love small film. I love the idea of making a movie about an idea rather than making it about a thing. And that's really what you see when you get to these movies like A Different Man, and we compare it to The Substance. The Substance is way bigger than A Different Man. The scale is massive, but I circle back around to a movie like
but it's way, like, it's gonna sound crazy, but it's way less human too, as like crazy as it sounds. Like
The Substance is
the Substance
it's crazy.
It's so
A Different Man is not that crazy. It's not as crazy. No, because it's more like sad,
because like it's in The Substance, you're like appalled by the fact that your physical appearance is all you have. Like, it's all the people look at. Yeah. Whereas in this movie, the Different Man, it's just about how you deal with yourself, you know? And it's very much more introspective. But you did not ask me, and I'm going to bring it up simply to piss you off. You want to know what my favorite color grading is?
No.
You don't want to know?
No, tell me. I thought you said, do you know? I said no.
No, you don't.
No, tell me.
Green hues. Specifically, do you remember, like, in like the first Alien, they have some, is specifically in Old Boy. There's this green tint in the entire movie. I love it.
I hate that shit.
I love that.
You wanna know why I don't like it? Because it's so like Cloverfield, right?
Yeah,
that's what you like.
Oh, bro, it's so VHS-y. Like, for me, it's just a different type of nostalgia. It's different.
So I've always had a really hard time. If you ask me what my least favorite era of anything is, it's the mid-2000s. And that green thing is mid-2000s.
But there's a difference between that green thing from the mid-2000s and well-executed green things. Because the problem with the mid-2000 green thing...
It's everywhere. It's really everywhere.
But it lost sharpness when they did that. It was extremely, like, faded. It was a green hue that just, like, overshadowed everything. I like green accents in a very dark setting. Like, you're walking down a street, or you remember the Exorcist poster where the guy's standing next to the light post? Give a green hue to that scene, like, darken everything up. It's just gonna bring out a different vibe entirely. It's gonna be creepy. It's gonna be nice.
It's a tough one for me.
It's a tough sell. I know.
I like play with blue, play with orange.
Give you
green is like whoa, like you know, you see it a lot too. I just thought of it like. It's actually more blue. I'm thinking of very specific scenes out of because of mid-2000s, like 2006 is the Casino Royale. Yeah. And I'm thinking of very specific scenes from that movie where they play with like a really green tint on everything, especially if you count the scene where he's like the torture scene with Le Chiffre
in the basement there. Like that's but with the strong light.
That he's got a light shining over his head. He's all orange, but there's like a greenish hue on his eyeballs.
That is the definition of creepiness in lighting. No. And for that, I'm like, it sells the scene. Like, it's a final touch.
Okay, so I see what you're saying, but the definition for creepiness for me, like what actually creeps me out, like, it is the clash of warm look, terrifying imagery. It was in this movie. There's a very specific scene where the skin just starts like falling off his face, and he's sitting on his couch with a lamp shining on his face, and it's just like it's creepy. And it was also in Longlegs, which was Neon's film of the year. Like there was the very specific scene of let's say.
I mean, the whole chalet scene, where she was chased around, had that tint. Like, you know, the first 30 minutes there, like, she went back to her place, and the Longlegs was there, just creeping around her.
Yes, yeah, like, it does. It does. But I'm thinking even further along in the movie, more towards the end, when in the flashback sequence, when Longlegs ties up her mother, and you're seeing it from the end of a hallway, and you're just looking through like a door frame, and it's all lit up in the door frame, but he's like on the floor tightening, and I'm like, that's beautiful colors, but it's really not nice what you see. And that same color pattern comes alive in the family church massacre scene there, when the priest comes in with the axe and everything. Beautiful. The movie works. That's what works for me. Like, and I got fed up with the horror trope of like blue darkness. It doesn't work for me as much anymore.
It's sad that Nosferatu is about to come out with that exact hue.
I know. I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled.
Yeah, I guess
I looked at you last time you saw a Nosferatu trailer in the theater. I was like, I don't know anymore. Yeah. Like, and
the only reason I don't know anymore for me, like, I think we like mentioned it briefly, but it's the overall like Play-Doh-ness of the entire setting. It's like, because when you're like you see it from afar, that it's like, it's not real. Yeah, it's like it breaks the immersion, because like it's not a palatable choice in my opinion. When you take a smaller scale like The Witch, where you have like those small scenes and it's just a small village, right? Like, it's not big. It works because you're meant to be closed in this world.
He's like keeps blowing it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt the same way. I was like, I'm not sure about The Northman. I watched The Northman. The Northman's awesome, but The Northman is an action movie. Like, Nosferatu was like, the bar was so high. I'm like, Robert Eggers is making Nosferatu amazing. They released a still, the bar dropped. They released the poster, the bar dropped like so much. The poster is terrible in my opinion. And then they released the trailer. The first teaser, I was like,
but they waited too long.
No, they didn't wait. They didn't wait too long at all.
But we've known about this movie for over a year.
It doesn't matter. They should not have done anything. I would have not done any marketing.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
The more marketing, no. But I'm saying the more marketing you doing when it comes to a movie like Nosferatu, the more you're turning your audience away. Like, in my opinion,
but that's because they started too early. That's my point.
Oh, you said they didn't wait long enough. I thought you meant they didn't wait long enough. I thought you were saying. Okay, you're saying they didn't wait long enough to start marketing. Yes. Okay, I misunderstood.
Like, because like it started like December, like past December. Even before that, like October.
I don't know when this first shot.
I remember
it's been a minute.
Yeah, so it's like if you started in like April of this year, crazy work. Like, yeah, I would have been on my seat, hyped, ready to go.
I don't know. I what I'm seeing coming from it doesn't make me excited to.
You want to know what?
I still want to watch it because I figure this cast, this crew is too.
It's too good to fail.
Yeah, no, not too good. Not too good to fail. It's too good to be ignored.
Okay.
But it's not too good to fail.
You want to know what
you remember? Amsterdam?
I do remember Amsterdam.
That was too good to fail, but so.
You want to remember, like, you know, the vibe that this movie gives me is crazy, but like it gives me Beauty and the Beast vibe.
I know, and I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah,
I really can't do it. I'm not a big medieval. You know me. I'm not a big medieval. I'm not a big fantasy. I don't like the Lord of the Rings. I keep seeing trailers for Gladiator 2, and the more trailers I see, the more I'm like, yeah, Gladiator 2. Like, you know?
Yeah, but I guess it's one of those movies that you're just going to go in and be like, it's fine. Let me just watch it.
It's one of the movies that you go in because you're like, I'm not going to miss it just because I'm not that interested. Like, I'm not going to miss this. You never know you never know. You can think that a movie's not going to interest you, and you sit down and watch it and you go, holy shit, that was the most fun, that was the best, that was amazing. You never know what you're going to watch, and so you have to go watch it. You can have an idea, but you should go watch it.
Yeah. Regardless of what you think.
Yes. And regardless of what a fucking Rotten Tomatoes score says. I want to bring this up. So I was on my phone and I was scrolling, and I follow Screen Rant, and Screen Rant shared an article about how Francis Ford Coppola is all mad.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, he's been mad a couple times this year. Anyway, what happened in this particular situation is, let's offer some context. Francis Ford Coppola released Megalopolis in September. The movie, how do I put this nicely?
it's a feat of grandiose like scale, but it fell down hard as it like.
No, I don't mean it
was
in our
high.
opinion. Our opinion is said already. What did Francis Ford Coppola do with Megalopolis in the eyes of the public? Absolutely nothing. The movie came out and essentially went right to the Walmart bargain bin. There was nothing. No one saw it. Like, no one saw it.
More people saw the meme of the guy walking on stage to speak with Adam Driver than they did the movie.
I don't. He. Oh no.
Oh mon Dieu.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
No.
No. No.
It's way worse than I thought.
No.
It's way worse than I thought.
Bruh.
It's what? Way worse. That's way worse than I thought.
No way.
Megalopolis made $13 million at the box office.
Worldwide.
Thank you for specifying worldwide.
Worldwide. That's abysmal.
I can believe it. I didn't realize that was the case. Okay.
What's the budget already? Like over...
He put $120 million in alone. Yeah. So, oh no.
Bro.
We said he was going to make his money back. Remember?
We said that?
Yeah, we did.
No! The biggest fumble ever.
Oh no, Francis.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so he was on a rant because essentially no one saw this and he blamed Rotten Tomatoes and other film review websites for this. We'll just start.
You know what's crazy? If you go on Amazon...
It's like a hair.
You want to know something?
I took it off. You go on Amazon?
You go on Amazon?
Yeah.
You see a product?
Yeah.
It's rated 1 star?
Yeah.
Would you buy it?
No. So this is what he's mad about. So he said, this is the quote. Well, Rotten Tomatoes and CineScore and all the various score system is a way to control cinema, which is art and shouldn't be controlled by treating it like sports. The movie business doesn't want risk. They want movies to be like Coca-Cola or something.
Yeah. Your point being?
I feel like, you ever seen the Kanye meme? There's light inside. We got light outside. That's what he sounds like. Coca-Cola or something.
That's delusional. I'm sorry, Francis, but truth be told, your product is a product. If it has an audience, it will get money.
Hang on. The movie business doesn't want... I can see what he's saying. Some of his shit's right. The movie business doesn't want risk. That's true. They don't want risk. They want success. They want things to work in a certain way. They want it to work well. Megalopolis is not a risk, though. Megalopolis is not a risk. Megalopolis is like...
I know that I'm going to throw money out the window because it's something that I want to do. I got to accept the fact that it might not work because it's not made for the market that I'm currently aiming for.
So, what is risk when you think about a movie? What is a risky movie that we saw this year? Something that pushed it a little bit. Something that stood out. Something risky. Something that we don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but we're going to try to do it. We already said one of them. The Substance is a movie that is unconventional. It's a little bit risky in a way.
But here's my problem with Francis in his like specific case.
Yeah,
he lost the sense of scale when it came to like risk management.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, because that's exactly what I'm getting at. So, like, The Substance is quite risky. Longlegs was very different.
Now it's in everyone's like psyche, that movie, but when it released, everyone was skeptical of it.
Yeah,
everyone was really
Joker
skeptical.
2 is a risk, and it bombed. So yeah. I guess so. The Francis's point is that the movie business doesn't want risk, and I made a risky movie and it failed because of Rotten Tomatoes, because of the reviews. Counter argument, Francis, don't we say that you made one of the greatest movies of all time?
Perhaps a few of the greatest movies.
Don't we say that you did that? Who validates that for everybody? Is it not Rotten Tomatoes and CineScore and everybody else who says it's awesome? Who, you cannot take the argument when you want and then spit it out when you make a fucking
10% of your budget
exhibit. Megalopolis is not a movie; it's a museum exhibition. It's not like a. I've seen less confusing things at Fotografiska. I went to a museum in New York and I watched a 20-minute short film that made no sense, but apparently it was about art, and it made more sense than Megalopolis did.
the point that I'm getting at mostly with this movie is that the same way that like you wouldn't see a company like a car company put a train engine inside a fucking coupe.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can put a like was it like $280 million budget? I don't know what the final.
It was like 100 something.
Okay, but I wouldn't.
It's still too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't see like someone in the movie industry put that much money behind an idea that is not proven. And I'm sorry to say it like this, but it's kind of the truth. You're not about to put like. It's as if I took like $1 stock and put $1 million on it.
I agree.
Like, I'm sorry, but it's way too risky. It's not predictable at all.
I agree. He fucked up.
And look at Godzilla like -1 in this case. I know it's a complete different sphere, a different case and all, but you take a movie that is daring in its universe of monster movie, you give it $10 million, which is a huge amount for that sphere. And what do? One of the greatest monster movies that we've had in the past decade.
Hang on.
And it blew the budget.
Be realistic. Do you think Francis Ford Coppola
wants to settle
can make anything small anymore?
No.
I don't blame Francis Ford Coppola for making Megalopolis. You can't complain.
No.
If it failed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's not anybody else's fault. You clearly misgauged what type of cinematic audience you're feeding for. And especially in this day and age. It's 2024. People are not watching movies like that, really.
Do you think if it was released earlier in time, it would have worked better? Like how much better?
80s, 70s, it'll work. But like, okay, so Paul Mescal had a whole argument recently. Did you read about this?
Nope.
I'm gonna bust this out because it kind of just feeds into what the point I'm trying to talk about here. Paul.
Mr. Paul.
Yeah. So Paul Mescal, who's starting in Gladiator 2, he says, over the last few years, people have been talking about films as content. That's a filthy word. It is not content. It's fucking work. I'm quoting him. I'm trying not to swear on this episode.
It's already too late.
I only swore there. It's the first time I swore.
I probably swore more than
you swore more than me, which is rare. It's not content. It's fucking work. There are two concurrent industries. One that works with a lack of care, artistic integrity, go nuts, make stuff with Instagram followers as a factor, whatever. But the other is what has always been there. The craft of film, making, directing, lighting, and production design that keeps artists alive.
That is a completely fair statement.
That is an amazing statement from one of the youngest actors in the game. I love that statement. I agree with him. However, I stand with what he's saying. I agree with him, but he's pointing out the reality that it's not the case anymore. Mm-hmm. Films are viewed as content.
Yep. And I would go farther than that. Mm-hmm. I would say that if you're talking about the scale that Francis Ford Coppola is working with big studios, with big money, it has to be content in order for it to work. If you work with small studios, it can be something more than content.
Well, I don't necessarily see it like that. I think it's about like the work I think it's about gauging your audience. Like Paul Mescal is saying, the audience was referring to films as content. He understands that he just starred in Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2 based off the sequel to Gladiator 1, which is one of the greatest...
movie that Ridley Scott made. You could
one of the greatest movies Ridley Scott made, one of the greatest regarded movies of all time. It's like I'd say top 50 easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So people love Gladiator. He understands that Gladiator 2 is made to be taken just as seriously. It is work. This is a craft. We made something that we've made something that he can hope will go down as X, Y, and Z. So Francis Ford is they're both saying the same thing, except Francis Ford is oblivious and Paul Mescal is not. Like Paul Mescal can say, if Gladiator 2 bombs,
I'm listening.
If Gladiator 2 bombs, Paul Mescal can say, well, look at the audience we're feeding it to. Fair?
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola goes, why did my film bomb? Like that's the difference. That's
he's not asking the right questions.
No, he's not asking the right questions. He's saying it bombed because people told you it was bad. Well, it bombed, Francis, because frankly, what is there to understand? like I don't know.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna like jump into what you were telling me about this entire thing.
What are you looking for?
You see all the movies that we've watched this year that specifically you watched. I'd like you to just go quickly over them and tell me which one you would consider as content and which one you would consider as like not. I don't remember exactly what he said, but like not content, actual work.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up the list because I don't want to go with. I have a lot of movies there, but I have movies that are not from like this year that I want to.
Just cover over.
Yeah,
because like I feel like it's such a good question because it kind of paints a better picture of the film
versus
space.
Content. I know like so. I'll start from the top.
We're probably gonna put up a like visual of this, right, so that people can follow along.
Yeah, I'll put like a poster.
Yeah.
Or maybe I won't.
Laziness will like ensue.
What are we looking for? Film versus content?
Yeah.
Okay. Here
you could do like top 15.
There we go.
Zoom in.
No way, I can't really do it like that. This is my list. Oh no, I don't want to show the list. I have a ranking.
Oh damn! I already showed it.
Oh shite!
You're gonna have to blur it.
I'll blur it. I won't
censor it.
I won't. Okay, Anora is a film. Sing Sing is a film. Challengers, The Substance are films. Dune Part 2 is
content.
No, that's the thing. Dune Part 2 is a film that gets treated like content, but it is a film. It is one of those pivotal.
The one that marries the two together really well.
Yes. Yeah. The Substance is the same. It's a turning point. TSN turning point.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh my god! Notifications are coming in.
It is a movie that marries the TikTok space and the film space together. The Wild Robot is a film for kids, but it is a fucking beautiful film. Hitman is Richard Linklater. It's the furthest from TikTok you're gonna find, but it does star Glenn Powell. That's another key element where you have somebody who knows what they're doing in regards to that.
Stop right here.
Yeah,
that is your top like first row of your list. Go down 4 rows.
Yeah,
like from the bottom.
Here. Okay, Borderlands is a fucking. I don't know what the fuck that is. Madame Web was. I like Madame Web, but it was just made for clickbait. Essentially, Sydney Sweeney, Dakota Johnson, Lift, Kevin Hart. That is a failure of a contract.
No, but is it a content or a film? Because for me, I'm way more harsh when it comes to that shit. I would say that this is content, Madame Web. This is content too.
Boy Meets World. But what is so what is content? What is film? Because I believe that a bad film can exist. You made a film, it didn't work the way you wanted it to work. It's not that.
I feel like content exudes the fact that you want to go for the bag, and you fail at it. Because good content is still watchable. You go for the bag, but it works. Barbie is good content. I know it's like a great movie that like breaks barriers and shit.
Barbie's not film.
No, but it's content.
Why is it not film?
It's not film because of this reach that it tries to do, the reach that it has. I don't think that matters. The audience.
I don't see that as a.
It's not elevated
valid
enough to be that, you know. And I like because we have to draw lines here. Like we cannot like.
So if you want to, like, we can draw lines, sure, but it's like content versus film is like.
Would you like go farther and just say that anything Netflix related is content at that point?
So it's not content versus film. It's like, well, yeah, okay. So the argument that you're making is a film is designed to be timeless, whereas content is designed to live in the now and die in the next week.
Yeah, because are you here to stand the test of time? Or are you here to leave a mark? And I think that's kind of what Paul Mescal's argument is turning around to.
Paul Mescal is arguing public perception.
I get, but ultimately public perception is what is going to lead you to have a timeless movie.
Sure. So fair enough. You know, it's tricky because some movies are designed to be bait for money, and other movies are designed to last forever. So it's hard. You're more likely to find the movies that are designed to last forever, and
I can already tell you, like from your list,
I think the real movies are gonna last.
Yeah, that only time will tell.
All the other bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow.
Right. But look, I feel like, as crazy as it sounds, Monkey Man's gonna stand the test of time, whereas
Monkey Man was
Maxine won't. Maxine will stay
but Maxine will not stand the test of time, not because it is a movie that was trying to do that. It was a movie that is just not as good as the other two. That's the thing. Like that's where
then how it will. Would you agree? Like, say
you want me?
No, but I have a bigger question. Then.
Yeah, go.
Would you agree to say that
lips are dry,
bruh?
Keep going. Keep
would you agree, like, saying that at the end of the day, whether something is treated as a film or content is solely based on public reception, and not 100%. Your artist's intent?
100%.
There you go. That is Paul Mescal's whole argument. At the end of the day, regardless of what you do, it's work, and it's nothing else but work. But it's
the
sad.
Public will deform it.
The public will deform it to whatever it wants it
Joker Folie à deux is.
It's the craziest thing. It's probably the farthest thing from content, but people wanted to treat it as content, and that's
like it's memes.
Yeah,
but it's not memes. It was like I thought it was beautiful.
But that's my point. People wanted to treat it as content rather than a movie, which is why it failed to the eyes of the public.
Okay, so yes, exactly. It's what it really is. What the only mark of really successful work or unsuccessful work, unfortunately nowadays, is money.
Yep.
If you made back your budget, congrats. Mm-hmm. If you got Oscar notoriety, congrats. How long is your movie buzzworthy for? Congrats. The substance is killing it. It's buzzing because it hit streaming. It's on Mubi now. It was a movie original. It's on Mubi. It's buzzing.
Yeah.
Like that is a testament to a successful movie. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Successful movie.
Yeah.
But
it's not crazy work, in my opinion. It's not the best blockbuster of the year. I think Furiosa was better, and I think Dune Part 2 is better. Deadpool and Wolverine is darn good, enjoyable fun, but it's not a movie that's going to stand the test of time. You grab the whole MCU. Think of the movies that stood the test of time. More often than not, they go hand in hand with the highest on Rotten Tomatoes, because critics got behind them. Actually, MCU is glazed on Rotten Tomatoes.
Glazed like crazy. Because the truth with the MCU
I hate using the word glazed.
No, but it kind of is true.
They fucking dick ride them.
I feel like if you look at the MCU as a entity, it is deserving of the glazing. If you look at the MCU piece by piece, it is not. It's the sum of its parts that makes it a great thing of beauty. It's the fact that you'll have 30 movies to watch that make sense and build an entire universe that is coinciding with one another. It just works.
Yeah. So it's like, and even that, what MCU things stand the test of time? It's the moments. Mm-hmm. What's the best MCU moment? Is it when Captain America is wielding Thor's hammer and he calls on all the Avengers? Is that the best MCU moment? Is the best MCU moment when Tony Stark snaps his finger? But Endgame is not a better movie than Black Panther.
Nope.
But the best moments come from... So yes, that's definitely the fair argument when it comes to the MCU. It's the sum of its parts. It's really all of it together. It is designed to be chopped up and placed on YouTube, and you can watch scenes. That's really how I see it. It's not necessarily a cinematic...
I wouldn't say it was designed
it's not
for
designed
that,
for it, but it's
the
been
world,
it's been
the world
adopted
has been
that.
used it has been using it like that.
It's been adopted into that. Outside of that, it all starts as work, and public perception will mold everything that gets thrown into it. And that's just how it goes. But
that's just how the world works.
Yeah,
I make a recipe. Everything stands on its own, and once it's together, it's a reaction between everything that makes the food.
And sometimes it will fall apart, and sometimes it will not. And that's what we get when we get movies like
Megalopolis.
Yeah, unfortunately. So Francis Ford, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're gonna have to suck it up because the public didn't like your shit.
Sadly.
And the problem is, so what we'll see is, take a movie like A Different Man. Our local theater moviegoers have not seen that movie.
Not at all.
No, but the people. So it didn't get the box office success that it was. It was not a box office hit. It never aimed to be a box office hit, though. It aimed to go right through the box office into the award and high society.
Yeah, but I hate this. I was about to say again. I hate to say it like that, but advised viewers, the people are actually looking out for things specifically in movies.
Yeah.
It's a curated movie. It's a movie that you go watch if you're interested in movies and you want something different. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you got to recognize when something is made to
it's designed for cinephiles.
Yes,
it's not designed for your average audience.
Would you think it'd be a fair argument that to represent movies based on cinephiles versus casual viewers? Would it be like the fair way to like judge whether or not it's a risky movie or not?
No, nothing's risky. Megalopolis it stands alone. Like there's nothing like it. Nothing that is designed for cinephiles. Nothing that is designed for the blockbuster is like it. And really, when we say a movie is designed for cinephiles, we're talking about independent cinema. Yes. That's the difference.
And cinephiles specifically, I don't think we mean in the sense that it's not accessible. We mean it more in the lens of
they're going to go looking for it.
Yeah, and it's something different.
Yeah.
And you can make something different that is content, but it's not the same. The vibe is not the same. Everything's not the same.
It's just because it's essentially the thing is, when you're designing an independent movie, you understand that you're not going to get the massive reach that Disney will. Mm-hmm. However, if people go look for your movie, it might live longer than what Disney made. And that's the difference. And so when you take a movie like Megalopolis, it belongs to neither.
It really should have just been...
Because sorry, go for it.
It really should have just been a compilation of scripts that would have been made into a book. And I don't say that because the movie doesn't deserve to exist. I simply say this because the ideas that he had, that he like curated for 40 years, were so deep and so hard to represent in the real world. I don't think a movie is the right medium to transmit that idea.
Maybe not, because like I said, it belongs to nobody. Mm-hmm. Because it's not a Disney movie that's going to garner a large audience.
But a museum piece, like you said. You're not going to find
the independent moviegoers are not going to hit with it because it's just different.
Mm-hmm. But the way you like mentioned earlier how it could have been a great museum, like that whole, imagine a path that like you take 45 minutes, you go through the museum and all you see is those like a world reimagined by Francis Ford Coppola, and just see this exposition of great architecture, the way like you see the collide of the higher society, lower society, the comparisons between past Rome and today. It's a super cool concept. It's a great idea.
It's a massive failure.
Yeah, in terms of movie.
The only reason I say that is because Francis Ford doesn't clearly, like, Megalopolis ignores what makes a movie a movie. He ignored the fact that there's a 3-act structure with character development and there's just some basic checks, like a narrative structure, which this movie, like Megalopolis, it was just like
it felt like the narrative structure was added post simply because it needed one.
Because
people realize that it's so convoluted.
If we take this scene and put it in front of that makes more sense than it did before.
Yeah.
Right?
But didn't he say that he filmed it in collage?
No, it's been written since the 80s.
Didn't he say that he filmed like scenes piece by piece? Like in terms of like, we're going to do this, now we did that?
I don't know.
I feel like we've talked about
maybe
this.
He did. I don't know.
Because it would make sense then.
It would. It definitely would. I don't know. It just, I just hate to see...
It might have been a part of the interview. The crazy interview.
Yeah.
It probably is a part of that.
With De Niro slightly. Oh my God. I hate to see like a director... And you know, like Francis Ford Coppola is a vet, like he'll be okay. But if a young up and coming director decided he was gonna whip out a crazy ass movie, and Rotten Tomatoes just bashed it and no one saw it, I hate to see a director beat down on them, like be down on themselves, the cinema world on account of a negative review.
But how much of that, like ire that he feels right now, is based on the fact that money wise it was not successful? How much do you feel that it came from? Because like, even if it was a 60% or like a 50%, if he made all of his money back, would he have really complained?
Yeah, but he's saying that the problem is not the review. The problem is that the review turns people away from it, which is true.
But that's what reviews are for.
Yeah, but reviews should not be an advisory for people to go or not go to the movie.
But that's because
they are. Yeah. They've become that.
But that's not down to reviews. That's down to people being gullible.
I no. But he's saying Rotten Tomatoes. He's saying he's not mad at Rotten Tomatoes. Yes, he is, but he's more mad at the fact that the public buy into whatever Rotten Tomatoes says. So if the movie, like,
I understand that.
So like it's hard. There's some movies that are on Rotten Tomatoes that are not rated highly that I watch them and think that they're more enjoyable than whatever the score is. There's no way to go, like, there's nothing to do for that. Like, like it's about getting people to watch them. The problem is that people feel extremely discouraged when they see a score. Fuck, I wanted it to be better than that type of thing. But again, I wished it was better. You don't know what it is. You haven't seen it.
But have you really done your job correctly if people, regardless of the score, will wait to see the score happen? What I mean by that is, I feel like a movie that is hyped enough, that is properly sold to the public, is able to forego scores and just say, I want to watch it.
Not always.
Yeah, but that's down to the movie's marketing.
Folie à Deux had amazing marketing. They killed it. They had the iconic trailer scene where he puts his face in the glass with the score came out. Pew! Like, crash and burn on account of a score.
There's
because it's I heard it's not that good.
There's this thing in
I'm not going to spend $26 for 2 tickets to go watch a piece of garbage.
There's this thing in like the hardware space where it's a tangent, but it works here. Yeah. Where like when something is like released, they have to wait for the first day of actual release, it being accessible to the public, to reveal their test results, their score. Like there's an embargo on scores and reviews and everything.
There still is on film,
yeah, but like it's slowly released before the movie like is out though.
So like the Gladiator embargo lifted yesterday.
There you go, but it's out.
The embargo sometimes lifts the day before. The embargo it's situational. The problem is like, well, Megalopolis premiered at TIFF, so not TIFF. It premiered earlier than that. But it did a festival.
It played everywhere.
Yeah, so it's harder. It's just. Rotten Tomatoes is part of the game.
Whether you like it or not.
You cannot. What are you going to do? You can get people to watch your movie regardless. The problem is that when you have a movie like Megalopolis, people will watch it, but they might turn it off because they don't understand what's happening. Do you ever consider that maybe you made a mistake? Yeah. Maybe this was not the way it was supposed to be. Because you can have a negative score and be like, okay, like Will Ferrell comedy movies, 48%. Okay, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to just be loose and just make people laugh. It's just supposed to be for fun, all right? But I don't think Francis Ford was supposed to wind up with like a 17 Rotten Tomatoes. Be
not
like,
at all.
It's supposed to be like this.
It's supposed to be 100%.
I think he thought he was making one of the greatest movies of all time, and he's sad about it. That's really what.
And you know what? You're allowed to be sad, because I would be sad too.
Me too.
Like actually would be sad too.
Yeah. You want to know what I'm sad about?
What are you sad about?
The Disney's cranking out another Star Wars trilogy.
I need a chair.
Disney.
I'm about to sit down and yap for 3 hours.
Disney's cranking out another Star Wars trilogy, just in case they wanted to fuck up my childhood even more.
Is it still set in the Skywalker era? We don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Star Wars should. What do we need the next Star? What do we need the next Star Wars trilogy for? Who needs the next Star Wars trilogy? Why don't you make your own Star Wars movie? Why don't you make a new sci-fi story? They would bomb, but
what would you want out of another Star Wars trilogy?
I don't know. I didn't know. I have no clue. What are you gonna do? Who are you gonna bring back? Everyone's dead.
Yeah. Not only everyone dead, the plot has been out for 40 years. Like it's always been about the Empire.
Obi-Wan is dead. He's also like 85. He would be like 98 in this. It's just.
I feel like the TV shows did a good job of palliating the Star Wars need in the people's like life. I feel like The Mandalorian did a good job at that, expanding on the world, just living in Star Wars. Because I get the appeal of being in that world. It is cool. It is neat. It is different. It is nostalgic. It is everything someone wants out of a sci-fi palatable movie / TV show / whatever. Setting out to make new movies, a new trilogy. it's nothing more than a cash grab.
Okay,
I hate it.
Let's see here. The good. I'm happy they got one guy to do 3 of them. That means you're gonna live and die by this guy, Simon Kinberg.
Only time will tell, though.
Yeah, no, God knows. I root for him to do a good job.
No, but that was supposed to be the case for the first trilogy too. Same guy.
It was the same guy.
Yeah. No, but second one they.
It wasn't supposed to be the same guy.
For real?
No, they had J.J. Abrams come back and do 1.
Yeah.
Then Rian Johnson did 2, and then J.J. did 3.
Why did they do it that way?
I don't know. They didn't think Rian Johnson was going to go off the rocker. Simon Kinberg is going to do the 3 of them. Simon Kinberg, who directed X-Men Days of Future Past.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Okay, so you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Somewhat, because you also made X-Men Apocalypse.
Oof.
Let's just, one step at a time. You're in charge of 3 movies. Have a 3-movie layout. Get the shit done. Make it continuous. Make it interesting. Ease up on fan service. Interject some new stuff.
You know what Stars needs?
Make it fun. And make it... Mm-hmm. Make it work.
I have the word for you. I think what was missing in the first reboot of Star Wars, I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3, but like 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
That I think is still missing now. That we might be proven otherwise what's missing is a singular vision.
Well, that's
the creative direction of the first 6 movies was still George Lucas's baby. Like, he was still working on this universe and trying to make it work. This is what made it work. The idea that the tone of the movie, regardless we like it or not, is coming from the same dude. It's his ideas.
Yeah.
He's writing this, by the way. He's like, as well as directing. He's doing everything.
Writing and producing. He's not directing.
He's not directing? Good.
That's okay, though.
That's
just right.
Actually okay. But at the end of the day, I don't know if he has the scale, the vision of scale that it needs to have in order for it to work. It has to be like a dedication of a life to bring the Star Wars universe, given its scale now, to something that is actually appealing to fans that have been living with it for like 40 to 50 years. Like 1976, the first movie, 79?
77.
77?
Yeah.
It's almost fucking 50 years.
I know.
50 years of Star Wars, and you're about to tell me that we're going to get a vision that is probably narrower than what we've had, an expanding universe for like the last 50 years. That is what makes me not believe in this reboot.
So I'm like, new Star Wars trilogy. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's something very cool about Star Wars going to be back in theaters. That's fun.
Why would you want Star Wars when you have superheroes?
Star Wars is cooler. Like, it is, like, it's cool.
I get that, but when you're talking about recycled value, superheroes are far more easy to recycle than Star Wars.
Yes, they are, but Star Wars can be new. Like, they can do something new. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea. I don't even remember what happened at the end of the last one.
I feel like what they tried to do, or at least what happened, at least in the last 3 movies, is that they took the Marvel formula of we're going to build a team and try to make that team work. Mm-hmm. And then they realized they're making a Star Wars movie and not a superhero movie, and fumbled the bag from there on. Because in the first, like the 4, 5, 6, they built a crew for the first 3 movies.
Yeah.
They worked because there were a crew. You were following not just a Jedi, you were following a team. The new movies, they tried to do that. Then we're like, no, it's all about the Jedis. It's all about the Skywalkers. And they try to make it about one character in this world. And everyone was a secondary character.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that they didn't try to make it about one character, but they singled out one character and made the rest of them just obsolete.
There you go.
They went to the casino.
I wasted my life. I think it's the longest moment I've had in a theater was that scene. That 40-minute sequence of the casino made me regret every single life choices I've made to this day.
Too. I don't think they get anything out of it.
They didn't get anything. They got my thumbs down.
I don't know. Here's what I think. Make something iconic and new. The problem is that the last time we had a Star Wars movie,
I've had this crazy idea.
Yeah.
What if you actually make it quality?
Well, that's what they're going to have to try to do.
Like, what if you elevated Star Wars?
You don't have to.
You don't have to, but what if? Because if you want something new, that's the next step. Like it is a next step. Make it about like a character development. Make it about, I don't know, you're following the art. I know they tried to do that in the first 3, but they kind of failed with Anakin. But like, try to make it so that you actually have emotions behind your characters that are actually relatable. I'm sorry to say it like that, but like 7, 8, 9 were not relatable. We were just like peering into, like, we had a hublot. We were looking into the window of like the plane, and we were just looking out. Make us be in the movie. Make us feel and care for the characters more than what they're about to do. Like, we've already been in the Star Wars universe for the quest. Make us be there for the characters.
Sure.
That is a way.
Sure. Raise the stakes. Make us care about them a little bit more. I mean, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is necessary.
It is not.
I don't think you can fail either. Like, you can just make something cohesive, make it make sense, bring in some new characters, mix in some old ones, whoever's left. Did Chewbacca die? No. Did R2-D2 die?
Probably not.
No. C-3PO's still there. Han Solo's gone. Princess Leia's gone.
Luke is gone.
Poe Dameron?
Probably gone too.
No, he's around.
It's not a trap?
No, Poe Dameron's alive. He's the Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, true, but what's the name of that? Like, it's a trap.
That's Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are around. Rey is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Finn is still around.
Yeah. Dude, they're mad goofy. Like, I look back, I think about it again, I'm like, they're so goofy.
They're not goofy.
It's a past era.
No, they're not goofy. The best character in that trilogy
I meant in like the aliens world, like the way they depict aliens in Star Wars is so goofy nowadays.
It's always been.
Yeah, I know, but before, like, I don't know, it made more sense.
They go to a bar and there's a bunch of big brain bald guys playing trumpets.
Yeah, but it's 1977.
It doesn't matter. They gotta stick with it. That's the universe.
Mm-hmm. I want them to play that song with automatones.
What?
You know what an automaton is?
No, I don't know what automaton is.
Go on YouTube. Right, automaton, most easily like bar thing.
Oh, how do you
Otomatone. As like space most easily.
Automaton. I have chop suey cover. Hang on. What is that?
No, that's not that. You gotta have an actual song.
Over the Rainbow.
We're gonna.
Okay. That'll do it. That'll do it. Hang on, I need the thing. Open this up.
My guy doesn't want the automaton in Star Wars.
I don't need the what the fuck? I don't. Oh shit. All right. Well, I'm gonna wing it. Yeah, that does it. That's it. I don't know. I don't remember how to outro.
You say bye.
No.
You know what? that is your problem for deleting shit. What is?
I got it. Okay, wait. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the CineClwd Podcast. I'm gonna do it. I don't even have it. I think it's lower. It would be lower.
God damn, you broke my computer.
It'd be lower. It's not there. Fuck. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the CineClwd Podcast. If you did, consider leaving a like on this episode, subscribing. If you want to come back for more, we'll be back on a weekly basis, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you're listening to us on audio, we still hope you enjoyed the episode, even though you couldn't see our faces.
You missed out.
If you did, consider leaving a rating of 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, or 1-star, but just don't leave stars.
We just won't be as salty as Francis Coppola if you actually.
Yeah, no. If you leave a 1-star, I won't be that mad.
I just want to know why.
They don't call me Francis.
No.
Anyway, thank you,
Francis. Superhero landing.
Jesus. Yeah, and then you could share it with your friends or whatever. You could share and like, subscribe. We'll see you next week, hopefully, for another round of the CineClwd Podcast. Thank you very much for your time. Have a sweet day.
Yay.